Ducktales, so
Okay.
it's cool.
We're
I really like it.
we're gonna go live in a little bit then.
Cool.
So ow. 3, 2, 1, let's jam.
Dum, 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 dum.
Shush you. Am I live? Are we live yet?
Refreshing page. Yeah.
There, I see us.
Okay, I'm not seeing it on mine yet. Give me a second.
I'm seeing an ad.
You will see an ad. Because I changed that.
I'm watching
to
it
you
all the
have to
way
be-
through.
You have to be subscribed to not get ads now.
I whitelisted Twitch entirely for that purpose
God damn it.
because I like giving ad revenue to some people, but not all of them.
There we go. Alright. 3, 2, 1, cue music. Cue music. Cue music. Hey there, everybody. It is 2 minutes to midnight, and I'm dying, apparently. This is me, Disdonn, with...
Steve.
Frosty the Nerd.
You were talked over? Who?
I am Steve.
Talk louder, Steve.
I am Steve.
There we go. Yes, the three of us are back again. After not enough time, apparently, because we still don't have this shit down.
I don't think we're ever gonna have the intro down.
What is this intro? How do we have it down?
We don't.
We should at least establish an order of operations
Yeah, that's the
for
problem.
like our introductions or whatever, because I don't remember we deciding whether or not it's me or Steve who goes first.
We haven't. That's kind of the problem.
Oh, the problem is that we are disorganized by nature because 2 out of 3 of us are incredibly disorganized sometimes. And I am
Which
recovering
two?
from surgery.
Who knows?
So I'm recovering from surgery, so it doesn't really matter, does it? So how's your last week and a half been? Better than mine, I hope.
Yeah, it has been better than yours for absolute sure. I don't think I've had a week as bad as your last week and a half.
And I can't
I'll get to that after you two do yours. So
Yeah. I stumbled upon a TV on the curb that actually works today.
yeah,
Or
CRT
dumpster
TV.
It's actually really nice for free. And before that, Pops came up to visit, and they
Pops,
did some
you mean Dad?
Yeah, I mean Dad. Did some diagnostics on the vehicle.
I heard about that.
Yeah, so hopefully we'll get that thing fixed. And
Yay!
registered and
Hopefully
everything, so
your
we can
car
drive it
will
again.
actually finally be runnable for once.
Yeah,
I'm
'cause
sorry, I got the good one in the marriage gift, and you just got one of the back ass.
He's been looking for a better one.
No,
he really
was
has.
looking for better ones for me for years, and then he just decided to give me the Yaris. So
Yeah, well, I mean, maybe if I get married to my significant other, there might be more incentive to. Never mind, I'm not gonna say anymore.
yes, please don't. Ow. So how's your 2 weeks been, Steve? I hear you picked up a new game.
Oh yeah. I don't know, something's wrong with my sinuses. I think I just have a nasty cold.
Well, it's been humid as crap, so don't blame you there. It's been raining like all day here.
I like it. It cools it down.
That's always good.
I'm
Cooling
so
it down
sick
is
of the
good.
summer heat.
Not having to run the air conditioner is nice. I found out I have a rather hefty August electric bill, so
Mine's like $100 a month.
Ours is doubled because we moved, so.
oh yeah, I hate that part too. I just moved recently too. It always sucks trying to
Any other
pay all
fun
the
news
bills.
for you two? Cool pickups, great games.
I bought Graveyard Keeper.
Yeah, you did.
DGDS is
started-
going on. I apologize for interrupting it, but I want to try and have a couple minutes to say thank you to all the people who well-wished me this last week. Because during the last little bit, around like 9 tonight, because I really appreciate that everybody on Twitter and Twitch and stuff has actually kind of given two halves of a fuck about me, which is great. But yeah, after the last episode, 2 days later, I wound up in the ER. I was having some massive side pains, missed work. They wanted me to do a consult with a surgeon because of gallstones. I went to work for the rest of the week, including 2 very long weekend shifts, and then woke up from my appointment incredibly ill, to the point where they just shuffled me off to the hospital. So Monday I was in the hospital, Tuesday I had surgery. Apparently I had an infected gallbladder, along with gallstones. So, yay for nearly dying. Well, you know, more than most people would in a normal week.
Are
And
you?
during the weekend when I was working, my lovely wife and her family moved us into the new place. She has been very good helping me recover and cleaning boxes. I will treat her for her birthday tomorrow. She's a very good wife.
Oh, her birthday tomorrow?
Yes, her birthday is tomorrow. Her golden birthday.
Nice.
Yes. That's been my lovely, lovely week.
Are you willing to admit the number of that you've had in your life on live, or would you rather just
Well-
chalk it up to it's about as many as I have been years alive?
No, it's not that many yet, bro. It's getting there, though. It's been in the double digits since I was double digits years old. But it's somewhere in the range of, what is that? 18 now?
That's quite a lot.
Mm-hmm.
17 more than I've had.
Yeah.
Literally,
So-
the only surgery I've had is my wisdom teeth.
Mm-hmm.
Clearly, we need to turn you into a cyborg.
I would be
I-
the
I
best
would-
candidate for
like that.
cyborging. I would definitely want to be a cyborg. That way I wouldn't hurt so much.
Yeah, your flesh bits are all failing you. They need to be replaced with robotic parts.
Yes, yes, they do. Let's call up Gene Co.
I don't know if I want to call up Gene Co. They'd probably send the repo man after me. I won't be able to pay them.
Damn. Oh, right. That's the insurance doesn't exist in that universe.
Yeah, exactly. So let's start with some gaming news. We'll stick with the most pertinent, most recent stuff last. Should we start with your review then, Steve? Because you mentioned just now about Graveyard Keeper, while it's
Yeah,
still
we could.
fresh in everybody's mind. Because you've seen other reviews and you've played the game to completion. What is your thoughts?
Yeah, it's getting a lot of bad reviews.
Are they warranted or not?
I'd say half of them are warranted, and there's some legitimate criticisms that could be made. The other half are complete blatant whining.
Excuse me while I remember to do things.
Like, the biggest thing is, in the game, there's this town that it builds up that you're supposed to be able to go to. Oh, and then after launch, you find out that it was meant as a joke, and that you can never go to the town. And people are pissed about that.
Yeah, I wouldn't be. I'd be upset about that too, a little bit. But realizing that it's a joke, I would be less pissed about that because you can't go to Canada in the new South Park game. So I mean,
Yeah, if you're familiar at all with the people who make this game, that they're also the ones who did Punch Club, then you kind of realize, okay, whatever.
Yeah, it's one of those.
A lot of the things in the game are just jokes and not to be taken seriously. So I can see where people are coming from being angry about that, but if you beat the game, they literally make a joke about you not being able to go to the town, and how the creators are probably so lazy that they'll release it as DLC later.
It'll probably be free DLC if they ever do, because reasons.
But yeah, it's played off as a joke for beating the game even.
Yeah.
The other big complaint everyone is saying is that the game is way too grindy.
Which is somewhat legitimate from what you've told me.
Somewhat, but like when we were in high school, one of the most popular games to play was RuneScape.
And people still
Oh, yeah.
play WoW, so...
So, yeah, trying to compare the grindiness of this to RuneScape, or any of the, things that were popular in the 90s and early 2000s, it just makes these people look whiny.
Right? Like, nobody said that about Stardew Valley,
Or Harvest Moon,
maybe some people
or
did.
Animal Crossing.
but nobody used it as their primary measuring stick. Because
Yeah, the big thing that makes it grindy is there's 3 types of points. Red points you get from physical activity, like, cutting down trees, mining rocks, etc., physical labor. Then there's green, which you get from nature stuff like farming. And then there's blue, which are based on religion stuff, making tombstones, studying objects, etc. The blue ones are the hardest to get, and so it creates kind of a bottleneck towards the middle of the game. So apparently there was a thing where if you would just collect a bunch of sand, you could farm a ton of these blue points. So a lot of people were just grinding to get them that way. And then they patched that so the sand no longer gave blue points, and that pissed a bunch of people off.
Oh, exploits.
I give it to the developers for patching out an exploit pretty quickly. But at the same time, that kind of proves in some weird way that it was intentional for the mid game to be very blue grind heavy.
Well, yeah. Also, I do kind of feel like they released it a little too early, because they were patching things like the first entire week while I was playing. And one thing I will criticize it for is they changed the amount of time in the day-night cycles, because the days and nights were way too short. You couldn't get a lot of things done. But when they fixed it, it threw off the timing for the donkey that brings you bodies.
Oh.
It's supposed to come at dusk every night, so for a while, it would just come sometimes in the middle of the day, sometimes wouldn't come for a few days.
That's kind of weird.
So
Did they
that was
patch the
some.
patch?
Yeah, it's all fixed now, but that was one thing I'll criticize it for. But as a whole, I'd say that if you like Stardew Valley and you like the kind of humor from Punch Club, you'll probably like this game. But I also would say it does feel a little unfinished, and that you'd probably be better off buying it on sale than paying full price. I don't think it's worth the full price.
Well, that's a good review. So, like, if you were going to give it a score out of 10, what would you give it?
About a 7.
I mean, that's decent. That's a, doable score. It's not like, oh my god, it's the worst thing ever.
It killed like a week's worth of downtime for me.
I mean, that's always good, man. So, 7 out of 10. Steve's review of Graveyard Keeper, because there's some flaws and some shit that needed to be fixed during the first week of play. Hooray! Speaking of things that needed to be fixed during the first week of play that didn't get fixed ever, the Happy Lucky Lottery scam. You literally just showed me this about half an hour ago.
Yeah, that's funny.
We have apparently a YouTuber uncovered the corruption in the minigame from Thousand Year Door of Paper Mario, where the Lucky Lottery is tied to your GameCube's clock. And Steve, since you found it, tell them how long you have to wait to get the good prize.
If you want to get the best prize, which is one of the best badges in the game, you'd have to set your clock ahead for 1 year and an additional month. And then save and try then change a day after that for each time until you get it. But if you're trying to play it legit, you'd have to be playing Paper Mario for over a year and a month.
Yeah.
Sounds like something I would accidentally do.
That is like the end levels of crazy. Also, the game came out in 2004, which is about the same time as Metal Gear Solid 3, so having weird crap like that in games was kind of a thing in the early 2000s. So that's very interesting.
What was it? You set the timer across
2 weeks ahead.
2 weeks ahead.
And the end just dies
Boss
of old
just
age.
dies. Oh my god.
Alright.
There's all sorts of things in there. There was actually a virus you can get called the one disease you can get is cold, but it's so rare because you can only get in like one part of the game, like in like the swamp area, and you have to wait for like about a half an hour for it to even interact with you.
Yeah.
I also know
And you have to have your stamina meter all the way down. I'm like, what? No wonder I'd never heard of this before.
I know that in Terraria, if you play the game on Christmas, you can have Santa Claus as an NPC, and then he dies the day after Christmas.
Like, legit dies?
Yeah, he, explodes.
Does Tim Allen replace him?
Unfortunately, no.
Oh. It's another notch against Terraria, Steve.
For not having enough Tim Allen.
Apparently. Alright, more in gaming news. Daybreak Games is getting rid of H1Z1 Just Survive, which is the not PUBG version of H1Z1, because apparently PUBG and Battle Royale games are far more important than small-scale projects right now. They're shutting it down in October because of lack of players.
Well, they didn't do that with a lot of games that have been like really hurting for players. Is Battleborn server still up?
I don't know.
I liked H1Z1 when I played it.
I'm not sure which version I have.
But last time I tried to play it, I couldn't really get in. There was some kind of issue with like putting in my username and password.
Yeah, the original
I'd
mode
get
is
some
gone,
sort of error message.
but I apparently have the I've got the King of the Hill version, so I'm not subject to that, I guess. But still, it's pretty crappy that like it shows that some of these games that we're enjoying now aren't going to be around forever, obviously. And on the scale of not going to be around forever, Square Enix is delisting Last Remnant on PC. It's a game that's been out for, I don't know, about a decade now. About a decade now.
Yeah, something like that. I played about 30 hours of it. I found out that I wasn't even halfway done. And then I kind of petered out of it because it was very, very strategy oriented. And I'm like, I like strategy RPGs and all, but I didn't really have the time to do the rest of it. Although I did like the story and the world and everything, I just didn't want to put any more time into it.
Yeah, it's just sad that like some of these games are being discontinued after ages, and that's why we need more of a bastion of
Oh, like how
availability.
RuneScape closed a bunch of their servers.
What? What was
Well,
that?
that one mode, I forget. The RuneScape Classic, I think it was.
Oh, didn't they release that as RuneScape Old School?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, because they had to
So
upgrade some things.
differences, but
Yeah,
still not the same. Enough that people will complain.
right. Yeah, but like I did like The Last Remnant. If they do put it on sale for like $3, like I paid for it, I wouldn't hesitate to pick it up if you're a fan of like heavy strategy, heavy JRPG. It was kind of a hidden gem, to be honest.
Yeah,
And,
it's
like,
one
the
of those.
politics of it was really interesting.
All
Very
right.
political.
And then to go into the sadder areas of the gaming news, well, one, I'm not entirely sure about who this person is, but CSGO YouTube star McSkillet dies in a fiery car crash that also killed like 2 or 3 other people while driving his McLaren sports car in oncoming traffic. Also took the life of a 43-year-old mother and her 12-year-old daughter. Driving home at 100 miles per hour plus. He was 18 years old.
Wasn't he driving backwards?
He was driving on the wrong side of the road. He had nearly 1 million followers on his YouTube. He owned the popular skin trading site CSGO Magic, which Valve shut down because of gambling. And he stepped away from his YouTube channel and hasn't been active for a couple of months. So it's one of those things where it's like, damn.
Damn, indeed.
Be careful when you're driving fast cars. And that brings us to our real big, suddenly appearing thing in gaming news today. Jacksonville, Florida was hosting a Madden NFL 19 tournament for $5,000 cash. And someone came and shot it up. There's a couple fatalities, including the shooter, multiple injuries, and it was at the GLHF game bar in the Jacksonville Landing Event Center. And that's like a mall type thing. And GLHF, if you don't know, is an acronym for Good Luck, Have Fun. This was nothing of the sort. They haven't really released a whole lot of information about it. They're going to tell more tonight. But breaking news, a couple people dead. The only thing that I know is that it's a one shooter, 11 shot, 4 dead. including the shooter. And yeah, it was supposed to start at like 4 o'clock this afternoon, Eastern Standard Time. Or they were going to be giving a statement at about 4:30.
So yeah, this happened just a couple of hours before we went on.
So it's really sad. It sucks, and it just reminds us that we really, really, really need gun control, as in like registering guns, like cars in the U.S. to maybe help put a cap on some of this. Because if people who aren't fit to have guns don't have guns, and makes it harder to get them, maybe, just maybe, they will stay their little bit of craziness and not do stuff. Because some of these aren't as planned out as, like, say, serial killers, where they plan for months and years and rack up bodies. A lot of these are crimes of passion where because they have the gun, they plan, usually, or they have access, and then they plan and do it in the span of a couple weeks. If you make them wait, maybe, just maybe, it'll cut down on some of these things happening. I'm not saying it will, but we haven't tried anything yet. And there's a lot of people in Congress who are taking money from the NRA to stop this.
Oh yeah, you have that list. Why don't we go over that?
List. Well, number one is going to be covered later because of other reasons. Richard Burr in the Senate has taken almost $7 million from the NRA. He's from North Carolina. Montana, Roy Blunt, he has over $4,500,000. Close behind him is Tom Tillis from North Carolina. Colorado Senator Cory Gardner, $3.8 million. Marco Rubio, you know that man, $3.3 million. Joni Ernst, $3.1 million. Rob Portman, $3 million. Just under $3 million at $2.8 million. Actually, $2.89 million, so it's almost $2.9 million. And this is from last year of October, so these guys probably made a lot more money since then. Todd Young, Indiana, and Bill Cassidy just behind him from Louisiana. On the House side, we have French Hill from Arkansas, Ken Buck, David Young, Mike Simpson, Greg Glanfort, Don Young, Lloyd Smucker, Bruce Polkwin, Pete Sessions, and Barbara Comstock. And looking at all of these states, almost all of them are in the South or in places like Montana and Colorado where, a lot of hunting happens. So they're misusing lobbying funds. This should not be legal. Just saying.
Is there any Democrats on the list?
Not in the top 10 of people who've profited from the NRA, so no.
No, I'm pretty sure if we find a bigger list, there'll be plenty.
Oh, yeah. I mean, they'll probably be further down the list, but the thing is NRA pays a lot of money to keep people in power and keep guns on shelves without any form of, tracking or restrictions at all.
Oh, why don't you tell people how you feel about the people who say don't politicize this?
They've been saying that since 1999. Blaming everything but gun control and haven't tried a damn thing. There hasn't been a nationwide gun law that's actually been enacted since before 9/11, outside of the whole TSA thing because of terrorist attacks. Shit needs to change. We need fucking common sense laws.
Weren't you
here.
saying that with this shooting, this happened in an active mall with security? So they just kind of walked right by security guards with a gun.
Not sure if that's actually what happened, but that's quite possibly what happened. We'll know more tonight after we're done recording, so we'll probably have to do an update on that.
Yeah, but at the time of recording this, that was the active rumor about it.
Which just says that security is needing to be beefed up, yes, but we also need to make sure that people can't get access if they're going to be doing things like this. Sane people buy guns for one reason and one reason only, and that's to hunt for 2 months, 1 to 2 months out of the year, with family members or alone, to get food that you can't get at a store, because you can't buy venison at a store. People don't grow venison, at least not normally.
Venison's delicious.
It is.
Well,
And
also for buying a handgun for self-defense, but that's still...
that's not actually necessary 90% of the time, and you know it. Most people who just buy a handgun saying self-defense just want it to, make them feel like they got a bigger penis, just like a big fucking truck.
Well, they buy it to feel safer.
Yeah, and feeling safer doesn't make you actually safer.
Yeah. Plus, having a pistol on you makes you 100% more likely to draw a pistol on someone.
Because you actually have one.
Yes. I'm just saying, like, you get angry.
Sad, it sucks.
Crimes of passion, like you said.
Yeah, crimes of passion happen less often when you don't have a weapon on you. Just saying.
Right.
So that downer will bring us into the music and entertainment portion of things. How's things going in that area of our world this week, bro?
Well, some shit's fucked, but there's also some really good news. Let's start with the sort of somber news. We'll start with the somber news and then work our way up from there, because we just have a really big down note, and I want to build ourselves up from that. Kyle Pavone, lead singer of We Came as Women, dead at 28. I wasn't entirely familiar with their music. I mean, I knew of them. I've heard their songs before, like Pandora. But it's really sad that he died so young. It's like only 1 year younger than I. Like, for real. No cause of death revealed. Just like, give the family their privacy. Listen to the music as tribute or something. It's actually pretty decent. It's like metalcore, kind of in the vein of like Asking Alexander, Bird in the Horizon, later stuff. So that's sad stuff that happens. But
yeah,
another thing that was we'll talk about it here.
I got one that's more entertaining.
Oh, we of course you do. No, but in good news, I guess, for if you like to hear about YouTube statistics, BTS, popular K-pop group on YouTube's newest music video, Idol, racked up 56 million views within its first day of release. The record previously belonged to Taylor Swift for her "Look What You Made Me Do" video.
I actually like that song.
Which one?
Look What You Made Me Do.
So problematic.
Yeah, not saying I really like Taylor Swift, just my wife made me listen to that one, and it wasn't too bad.
Well, it's catchy, but that's because she's not really a country singer. I guess that's for better or for worse.
Well, yeah, it's catchy.
Depending on who you ask.
Bland pop music.
Yeah, it's catchy. The bland pop music, yeah. I can't speak for as much what her other material is off of there, like, but I have been listening to a lot of K-pop recently. Because
I'm not a fan of either genre, so.
Well, I mean, but there's another group that totally broke some records with their newest music video.
How about disco?
Disco? I mean, I guess there are some disco-esque groups that I listen to these days, but it's more or less the 70s disco is just like, shit, do we have to talk about that? Do we have to talk about that?
Nah, not really.
It's not news, but
It's not
you
news.
can talk about it
What's not news?
in tangent if you want.
No.
Gives me time to sear in pain here.
But like, if you want, we can talk about it.
All that I really need
well.
to say about it is that somehow the majority of people had no idea that the Village People were, a gay-themed group in the 70s.
Oh, good God.
Somehow, people didn't know that.
Well, to be fair, men and women having sex with each other had just become socially acceptable in Western culture. So I guess I understand why it would have flew at the time.
Yeah, it flew under the radar.
But it's actually, speaking of under the radar, the whole thing about the Navy.
Yeah, the best part is the Navy lent them, an aircraft carrier for one of their videos and was going to use the song in the Navy for the actual Navy recruitment videos. And they had no idea that they were a gay-themed group. Eventually they figured it out and decided not to use that song. But by then they'd already, used the aircraft carrier to make their video.
Imagine if they had used that song for the Navy's recruitment
That
videos.
would have been like the best thing ever.
Top Gun would have been twice as gay.
Oh, right. Yes, speaking of Top Gun, one of the guys in that is set to play Hal Jordan in the next Green Lantern movie.
Ooh, sweet.
Who?
I did not know that.
I think Tom Cruise, right?
Tom
I remember
Cruise?
right.
That's a rumor.
Sorry. Fan art. And then stuff
They haven't
about
actually
Ryan over
talked
Hal
about-
Jordan sense for the DCEU,
They don't have anything planned actually for the Green Lantern. I'm sorry.
but it's speculation
Well, it's
and
a rumor.
speculation, rumors, and fan art. Just like the whole thing with
Back after the Dark Knight, and they had that Harley Quinn thing, but they were pretty much negligible because we all knew that since Heath Ledger was gone, they weren't going to go back to the Joker.
Which is why a lot of Bane's plan seems like it was written for Heath Ledger.
Yeah.
right.
And all of Talia al Ghul's parts were supposed to be Harley Quinn.
It does seem very similar.
And it would have been a much better movie.
Yeah.
Well, in a different universe.
I'd rather live in that universe.
Well,
Oh, yeah.
we'll
At
see if
this
that
point.
universe has the problems politically that we have. So.
Well, we'll think about
Well,
it.
someone needs to tell Barry Allen to stop screwing up so bad.
Motherfucker
Right.
needs to stop messing with the timeline. Alright, so more entertainment news.
Yeah.
Should I do mine?
Sure.
What was yours?
Then-
Alex Jones got caught looking at tranny porn.
Oh god, yes.
In one of his videos on InfoWars, he's showing off the app on an iPad or some other tablet, and it briefly shows all of his favorites or sites that he's been to, and people took a screenshot of it. And it mentions, I think T-Girl Miranda or something like that.
Oh god.
Oh.
So Jones was at some point looking up tranny porn.
Yeah. I don't like using that number for Alex Jones.
Well, yeah, it's what I've been seeing in all of the articles and what he typically says.
Yeah, for someone who hates transgendered individuals so much, he sure is turned on by them.
Yeah, for someone who's for years insisted that Michelle Obama is a man in a dress.
Well, you do know that the most taboo of subjects often get the most hardcore conservatives off the most. Don't you remember when Ted Cruz was caught with that porn page up when he was posting a screenshot from his PC? Oh yeah, and then all those conservatives who've been caught having affairs and ordering all those abortions and hush monies because, oh yeah, that's so taboo, it gets them so hard.
Oh god, what about that one guy who went on air talking about Bigfoot erotica?
I would like to see some actual Bigfoot on Bigfoot action.
This
to prove that
this was a
Bigfoot
couple
exists.
of weeks ago.
Just to prove Bigfoot exists.
Yeah, like
And has
that-
a healthy
It'd be
breeding
blurry
population.
for sure.
It'd be blurrier than Chinese porn. You're laughing, so I know you watch it.
Oh my god.
This is
Guilty
what we
as
call a Howard Stern moment.
Guilty as charged.
Do you think Alex Jones is turned on by the idea of Michelle Obama being a man in a dress?
I would bet against it.
And that's a very interesting piece of news, I'll tell you that. We go
Yeah,
from
I
Alex Jones
love
to
it.
hot Bigfoot on Bigfoot action.
And speaking of, I don't know, something about llamas and purple people in purple llama suits. Fall Out Boy released a surprise new EP called Lake Effect Kid, with the title track being a track they released a while ago as a demo, but they had been teasing that track for a while, but they basically released the whole thing as a tribute to their hometown of Chicago,
That's cool.
which they are playing Wrigley Field later this month.
Don't like the band much because of, just my musical taste, but sounds like they're doing good and they're doing some cool shit.
I
They
don't
are
know.
making moves.
I like Fall Out Boy.
I was not
Yeah.
on the emo music train that long, I'm sorry.
It's all good.
I lived and died with MCR because I was mostly into Nine Inch Nails and Alice in Chains at the time.
Yeah, they were just kind of on the edge of my radar. I mostly listened to, like, 80s rock and heavy metal.
Yeah. Well, their new stuff's actually a lot pop. I guess a change from the
Yeah.
whole emo punk stuff that they used to do. But one of these songs sounds like it could have been straight off of you. So it's like a sonically diverse 3-song EP. I listened to all.
Alright.
When are we going to
So-
talk about the boxing match?
I don't know.
Oh, we didn't even link to that. Hold on.
I don't have any links to that because I just wanted to mention it in passing. Just the fact
Oh.
that it existed makes me cringe. It's why I've not been on YouTube a lot lately.
Okay, you recap it then.
What even is the context for this?
I think the guy who, the KSI or whatever,
Well,
released
this all
a diss
started.
track against Logan Paul.
Yeah,
Released
back
a diss track.
back
back
when
a while
he
ago.
back when he did his whole thing in Japan with the suicide forest and caused another apocalypse and all that shit. There was a
Yeah.
diss track involved, and then there was a diss track, and then they both decided, hey, let's fight each other, but let's do it legally in a boxing match because we could sell tickets and make a shit ton of money.
Put on my fighting trousers.
And Luke's brother Jake Paul, who's been dismissed from some Disney contracts because of shit, he had a separate match that he won, and Logan Paul and KSI battled to a draw, which, if you know anything about boxing, that's very, very uncommon to have a draw.
Yeah, how the hell do you get a draw in boxing?
Considering that typically when you do boxing, your goal is to knock the other person the fuck out and not get a technical victory with points. And typically someone usually edges out in the points. And I don't honestly recall a time where a publicized boxing match ended in a draw.
Yeah.
This sounds like a giant disappointment.
And YouTube sold tickets. Like,
And I
what
bet
was it,
they're
$5 or
pretty
$10 bucks?
pissed.
It was like $5 or $10 to watch it, sort of like a pay-per-view, except cheaper.
Oh yeah, I bet.
That's
I bet
act-
YouTube's pissed.
Millions of
I
people
bet.
watch.
I bet some CEO is just sitting there. Why don't you kill each other?
Mm,
Right.
Money.
Well, You know what this means, though?
That YouTube's getting into boxing now?
Well, I mean, besides that, it means that both Jake and Logan Paul literally asked to be punched in the face.
So you're saying that they have Richard Spencer's haircuts and asked to be punched in the face. So the next thing they need to do is go to one of those rallies and get punched in the face?
Well, I mean, they already got punched in the face, so I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Wait for
YouTube
me, okay.
becomes the new UFC.
I would watch it. I would watch like a recap of it or whatever just to see Logan Paul get punched in the face.
But if
Just
you had to
make it
pay to watch that
animated.
recap,
Make it
I don't
animated.
care if it costs me
of
money.
it.
Slow-mo.
Just loop that shit.
I'm sure you can find a GIF of it today. I'm sure.
I'm
gonna look
after
right
this.
now on Twitter.
I saw someone make an animated video of it that had Goku in it for some reason.
Logan Paul punched in the face. Nope. It's not there
Somebody take
yet.
it down? Oh, darn. Well,
No, it's just not trending enough on Twitter.
sad.
Probably on Giphy though.
Probably.
Just how lame is that ending in a draw?
Right?
Very.
I
Trending
have
GIFs.
I'm gonna speculate, but this would probably never be proven. But I'm just thinking that maybe KSI threw or something, because he had every reason to beat the fuck out of Logan Paul.
I think a lot of people have a reason to beat the fuck out of Logan Paul.
Yeah.
I
No,
put in
they
Logan Paul
legitimately
boxing
had
and all I
beef.
find is butterbeans, so not gonna happen.
They had beef though.
Well, I mean, like you said, second adpocalypse. Anyone who's on YouTube already has beef, but what's his specific deal?
I don't.
No, they threw diss tracks at.
Because
is
they want to be
legitimate.
rappers.
So this basically amounts to just the high school bullshit meet me after class.
But publicized on YouTube and sold for money.
What a time
Next-
we live in.
Next week, teenagers from Beverly Hill will duke it out on the playground, live for your entertainment.
God.
All right, moving on. Next entertainment and last entertainment news for the week.
DuckTales?
I think. No, okay, that's the last one. We'll talk about DuckTales and Disenchantment after this, but that's more of reviews. This is news.
Update on a previous story. I don't know if I was here for. But,
You were here for that story. You might
Was
not have
I?
been very vocal on that story because that was a couple weeks back.
Oh, it was. Yeah. But anyway, Guardians of the Galaxy Vol. 3's production has been put on hold
Because
due to the James Gunn controversy.
Because James Gunn is not coming back, and a lot of the cast does not actually want to be in the movie anymore. So, yay! Disney has killed one of its money-making franchises by submitting to 4chan trolls. Cheers.
Oh yeah, even people who don't care for a lot of the Marvel movies liked Guardians of the Galaxy.
I did.
Oh yeah, it was awesome.
And I'm not a fan of most of the Marvel stuff. But it was actually slightly different and fun.
Did you finally see Infinity War?
No, I have not seen Infinity War yet. Where am I going to find Infinity War for less than nothing? Outside of pirating it, which I'm not going to do.
By now, it's probably in Redbox.
Yeah,
but that costs money.
$1.
You know what? Try.
They've raised it to like $2.
Oh no, $2.
$2. I thought that was.
That's a
I think,
Powerball
like,
ticket.
Yeah, well, at least
Well,
you
the
see a
Powerball
movie
ticket
for
would-
$2.
The Powerball ticket isn't as rewarding.
Sometimes.
I have an idea. Take that Powerball ticket and wait a year and then another month.
Ow. God damn it, Steve. Stop making me laugh. I have 4 holes in me. Why? Why do you do this to me?
Oh my god.
My wife's been making me laugh too.
Literally splitting your sides. Oh my god, I'm sorry.
Literally.
The Patch Adams theory of medicine.
When you have stitches in your sides, laugh. It'll make them heal faster.
Oh my god.
Just ignore the blood and the guts falling out. Not that they are, I'm just saying.
Well, you remember what I've been
Making
saying
light of my pain.
about your stitches to make light of your pain. That at
What
least
have you-
since they removed your organs, now you have 1 less red skull and gained a white skull, so when we bury you, you'll be worth more points in our graveyard.
Well, I'd like to be worth lots of points in the graveyard. And speaking of graveyards,
Of course, if we just burn you, we get salt.
oh yeah, that was supposed to be a segue into Ducktales, but I completely fucked that up because I was gonna make it about the Ducktales game and the Haunted Mansion and stuff, but I completely spaced because brain. So yeah, my bro has not seen Ducktales, so we're trying to keep some of the spoilers away, especially the reveal at the end. But the moon. That's all I'm saying.
Watch it.
Watch it. If you can find it, watch it. If you have to find it on the magical internet tree, watch it.
I linked you to it.
Yeah, he already linked me to it. I just haven't watched it yet.
I'm telling people possibly listening now or in the future.
Well, the first 2 episodes are on the Disney XD YouTube page for free.
Yeah, the Woo and like the episode apps after are both on there. Both pretty good episodes, good starters. About an hour, about as long as the first season of Castlevania to watch those 2 episodes. And then, yeah, the season kind of goes on an arc involving the 3 boys trying to discover truth about why Donald and Scrooge haven't been talking for decades.
And
Other-
they
and
find
their
in the
mother.
first couple of episodes, they find an old portrait that has a picture of their mother, and then they try to figure out why she disappeared because no one's talking about it. And it's at the heart of the mystery of why Donald and Scrooge haven't been talking in years.
And the reveal doesn't come until like the second to the last episode of the season, and then the finale ends with the amazing cliffhanger reveal for season 2. And it's just like, oh my god. And there's so much like nostalgic nods back to the original with multiple appearances by Gizmo Duck. You've got nods to Magica, Dispel, the Beagle Boys.
Oh, and
You
the
got
Darkwing Duck bobblehead.
Duck bobblehead, and the end credits from the original cartoon shown in
Oh,
one of the
if
episodes.
you look at Webby's giant board of mystery she has,
Darkwing
there's a
Duck's on there.
shit ton of little nods to the original comics, too.
Yeah, there's nods to everything. It's fucking amazing. It is amazing and deep.
This is
It
how you do a reboot.
And they probably did this reboot so well because of other Disney shows that have been going on lately, like Star vs. the Force of Evil and Gravity Falls, where
Oh, I
they
love
have
Star
done
Versus.
they have done so much good stuff with multi-layered storytelling that
Yeah, as of
appeals
right
to
now,
all
I
ages.
think that Disney is knocking it out of the park with animation, and Cartoon Network's kind of just taking a shit.
Adult Swim's still decent, but
Well,
Cartoon
yeah,
Network
Adult
on
Swim,
its
but
own
Cartoon
is
Network itself is
just like how
They're
Nickelodeon was
layered
really
in
good.
controversy.
Yeah, it's kind of like how Disney was really big, and then Nickelodeon got off the ground, and then Cartoon Network got off the ground, and now it's kind of going, and then it went back to Nickelodeon for a bit, and now it's going back to Disney.
Everything
Well,
old is new again.
The big problem is that Cartoon Network is just trying to make all of their programming into Teen Titans Go because it was successful.
Yeah, that's not gonna work.
So they're going reboot after reboot with that
The
similar art style,
only good
and it's
thing
pissing
that's-
everyone off.
The only good thing coming out of Cartoon Network right now that I can say, now that regular show's done, even though I didn't watch it, it was actually pretty good, is Steven Universe.
Yeah,
which you should watch.
I know
I'm
it's
behind
really
on it, but
popular.
it's really
I don't know.
good and
I
really
tried
deep, and
to watch it, but
it's one of those ones where
it isn't for me. It's not
Yeah.
bad, but it's just not for me.
it means a lot too because of the acceptance and LGBT themes.
Yeah, it's
and
got a
the
lot of
audience
good
it's aimed
messages, and I can appreciate that, but I don't know.
well, the first
For me, it just felt boring to me. I probably watched them out of order on Hulu, though.
at. Yeah, if you watch them in order, it'd be a little bit easier.
I'm
Yeah.
told
Just
that
Give
the
it a
further
couple
goes, the
episodes.
better
They're
it
11 minutes
gets.
each.
I'm told it really starts to pick up in the second season.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think the reason why that is because they had to get a done and got a lot of backstory and like just introducing all of the characters out of the way all in the first season so that they could hit the really heavy shit in the second season. Because
Yeah,
if they had put some of the second season stuff in the first season, they probably wouldn't have been renewed for a second season.
Oh hell no.
Yeah.
Kind of like what they did with Adventure Time.
Or Legend of Korra.
Yeah. But at least
They're
Legend of Korra
finally ending Adventure Time.
Really?
Yeah,
I
it's
mean, I understand
the
why, but
final season now.
oh well.
Which
I mean,
it
that's.
sucks because it's such a good show. It's one of my favorites.
I just don't want to. I understand why they would be ending it. It's been out for like about 8 years now or something like that. So it's more or less they want it to end before it gets bad.
Yeah,
Before
we
it
don't
gets
want it to
stale.
become The
Which
Simpsons.
show?
Adventure Time.
Oh yeah. I wasn't super into it when it originally piloted though, because that piloted when I was in animation school and the hype train was too much for me. And then I saw it and I was underwhelmed. I mean, I enjoyed some episodes. I can enjoy the humor. The art style is different, but it's not for me.
The first season is just plain weird, but after season 2, it really picks up.
Yeah, I've seen some stuff from season 2, and I mean, I know that it's got like a story and stuff, but it's just not my cup of tea.
Yeah, for you, I'd say just try to rewatch it and just skip the first season and just go from there.
Yeah,
It's got a lot of stuff I think you'd actually really like.
but yeah, we definitely recommend you watch Ducktales or the reboot. Season 2 is apparently coming out in a couple of months. They've been working really hard on the series to get stuff going, apparently, so they've got a second season coming right off. Off the boat.
Rumor is they're going to do a Christmas episode that's going to
Where it's
have
gonna
the
be
ghost
like
of Christmas, past, present, and future.
Yeah, where it's
like
gonna
the
be like
original Scrooge movie.
the Scrooge movie back in the 80s, man. That's cool.
Cool.
And then that
I mean,
moves
was-
on to the other.
But what
sorry.
did you think about how big of a badass Donald was in that final episode?
Oh, Donald as a badass when he had the voice modulator and actually could talk for all of 10 seconds was amazing. It's like, wait, Donald, were you saying these things the whole time but we couldn't understand you?
Yeah, that was just great.
Seriously, Donald comes out and he goes from his normal wah, 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 to, oh yes, we're ducks, we never back down. Just like all freaking All Might shit.
It was epic. I think one of my favorites, though, is the one where you meet Scrooge's parents.
Oh god, that was like
That
the
episode
third
was
episode to
great.
the end.
Yeah.
Scrooge's dad's all pissed that they got cursed with immortality. It's like, geez, how old are you and you're bitching?
And then I like when they find the treasure, and it's Scrooge's grandpa telling his
Great-grandpa?
dad, you're just looking for a handout. Why don't you try to work like everyone else?" And then he flips out just like Scrooge does.
Apple don't fall too far from the tree, trust me.
Yeah, that was freaking great.
And then we've got the other new thing that came out since the last episode, Disenchantment, which we've been hyping up for a while. We've all been interested in watching it. I've only watched like the first 2 episodes.
Yeah,
But that was definitely
I thought the first 2 were
worthwhile.
boring, and then it picked up after that.
Oh, the first 2 were pretty good. Not like Futurama, knock it out of the park good, but it's been like
I
a
would
good decade
firmly
since
put
he's done
this
the series.
between The Simpsons and Futurama.
Yeah, especially with how The Simpsons started really good and it's been meh since the late 90s.
Yeah, it doesn't hit as good as The Simpsons back in its prime, but it's way better than any recent Simpsons in the past, 10 plus years.
And
But still
so
isn't
many
as
jokes.
good as Futurama.
So many jokes in the background that you have to rewatch episodes to catch.
Yeah, like Little Orphan Annex.
Oh my god, I didn't see that one.
I forget which episode that is. It's the name of the orphanage.
But I know, like, in the first episode, if you blink and miss the sign on the Forbidden Forest that they walk into, it says, "Beware racist antelope," and then, like, 2 minutes later, an antelope comes and says a racist thing and spits on them while they're sleeping. It's like, oh my god, they foreshadowed that so well.
Wow.
And then, I'm not sure, does the one prince keep continue being impaled on that sword the whole season, or does he eventually die?
Eventually he dies, but it's like the third or fourth of the last episode.
It's a running joke that he's got so little brains that just on the sword he could just stay there.
Yeah, he's in a couple of episodes. He shows up later on, but
I find that hilarious because it's like they literally just put a cover over him and he's still talking in the first episode.
And the prince that got turned into a pig is a reoccurring character.
Does he stay a pig? Someone to stay a pig. Oh, that's cool. And then the pig got turned into him. Don't fuck with elf blood, people.
Oh yeah, it gets so much better. I watched it twice, and there's a lot of foreshadowing to the ending that I didn't notice the first time.
And isn't it already renewed for like a second season?
Oh yeah.
As most Netflix stuff is.
And I can't wait because it kind of ends on a cliffhanger.
Well, let's hope we don't have to wait nearly as long as we do for season 3 of Stranger Things, which I think is going to be the last season.
That would probably be good.
Season 3 or 4
was pretty good, but not as good as the first season.
Yeah, well, they didn't have years to make it. Like, they literally shopped the script for the first season to everywhere and retooled it for years before it finally landed on Netflix. So, I mean, it's kind of like the sophomore syndrome for albums. You put all of your best work on your first album, and then all of a sudden you try and follow it up with stuff that you've only done in like a year or two since, where it's the first one's your life's work. It's hard.
Yeah, I just like how in the first season you're just rooting for Steve to die, and then in the second season he's one of the best characters.
He is the best. He's awesome.
Like, how the hell did he redeem himself like that and become like a popular character? It's just great.
Nailing a baseball bat?
Yeah, he's just.
We don't go there, damn it.
Like, well, I was a prick. I'm not anymore. Okay, we accept you. Cool.
It's one of those where he legit, instead of running away terrified, grabs a baseball bat with some nails in it and beats the shit out of the Demogorgon. That's called He Mans Up.
I thought you were making a Negan reference, and I was going to scold you for it.
That's barbed wire, and Glenn deserved it.
I somehow could never get into Walking Dead.
Everyone told me that it would pick up in season 2, but I didn't want to suffer through like 4 freaking hours of exposition.
It doesn't
after
even pick
watching
up in
the first
season
2.
It doesn't really pick up in season 2. Season 3 is where you want to start.
To me,
you want to watch a recap for the first 2 seasons, and then, or you just read the comic until, I don't know, season 4 starts.
Yeah, because isn't that when it starts to differ?
To me, it just seemed like drama, and sometimes zombies show up.
Yeah, it kind of.
That's pretty much it. I probably have more fun like with a Telltale game watching the show.
Yeah.
Even though the choices are sometimes bullshit.
So that brings us to the end of the entertainment section, which brings me to our little disclaimer. This is a gaming, entertainment, and news podcast, which means that we're going to be getting into some political stuff here. So if you've enjoyed the gaming and news and entertainment, thank you. And if you don't want to stick around for the last part, you know, you can always skip it. There's nothing stopping you. You can hit someone else, go watch DGDS, you know, whatever. But we are going to be getting into some very divisive topics, and we are very progressive, so just be forewarned. That
if you tend to vote conservative, you probably won't like it. If you're in the Bernie Sanders camp, you'll probably enjoy our content.
Also, we do make fun of things, so there's always that. Like last week, we went on a diatribe about Space Force. Speaking of which, maybe we should start with that. What are the updates to Space Force? Did they pick one? Did they pick a logo yet? Because I remember the one looked like the logo from frickin' No Man's Sky.
I think they just had major ADD and went on to the next thing.
Are you fucking kidding me? They hyped the shit out of it, and then they just abandon it when it's got a 2-year deadline.
I mean, I can look at it and see if there's any news, but...
Quick, do it. We've got time. My music's bumping. We've got time.
Defining the job duties of Space Force will be a naughty task.
Oh, boy.
They haven't figured out what the duties are yet?
Well, I mean,
Pence details plan for creation of Space Force in what could be the 6th branch of the military. So that sounds exactly like what we knew last week.
So, nothing new, sorry. Space Force continues to be No Man's Sky, as in, it's going to need a lot of DLC and updates before it becomes usable. And yes,
that was a great analogy, bro.
I can make that analogy because I love the game. So what political stuff should we start with? Should we start?
I'd say we should start with the elephant in the room.
Which elephant in the room? Because there's a lot of elephants in the room. Goddammit.
Okay, yeah, but this room can hardly contain them all.
Pretty much.
Now, if we ever make a picture with an audience, it should be all elephants.
Ow. Damn it, Steve.
But I would say that only a couple of days ago, John McCain announced that he was stopping his treatment for brain cancer, and yesterday he died.
Which is fairly quick turnover. Now,
I was surprised how far along it was.
Yeah, I mean, it's been about a year since he was diagnosed, so I mean, it's not like it wasn't unexpected. It's just, whoa, that was quick.
But yeah, 2 days after he announced he was quitting treatment, that was really advanced stages.
Yeah, and
here's where we probably should issue a disclaimer that although we don't agree with
a lot of his policies,
that he was still one of the few Republicans that we actually have some amount of respect for. Because he actually stuck to his principles.
Well, yeah, and he actually stuck up for some people sometimes. Like, there's stories about how he, during the 2008 election cycle, he corrected somebody on the nationality of Obama because motherfucking Trump's bullshit.
Also, on his deathbed, he said that he didn't want Trump at his funeral.
Takes some serious balls.
Of course, he's also said that like a few months ago because he knew he had cancer.
And he was one of the few people to stand up to Trump, whether it was because he knew he had cancer or not. Not a lot of sanity there in the Republican Party to stand up against stupid ideas.
Well, after Trump, during the primaries said, I like presidents that weren't captured.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah,
bullshit.
and now I think my favorite joke I've read regarding that is, I like presidents who aren't impeached.
You know, it's gonna happen. Hopefully. One article related to that I just found while, scrolling. Arizona GOP Senate candidate Kelly Ward accuses John McCain of dying to push negative narrative about her because apparently she got caught saying something negative about him a couple days ago.
Yeah, don't you love how with the Republicans, it's just all about them? And then they call the other side entitled.
The amount of ego is truly crazy.
God, wow, a quote. I wonder if John McCain's trying to steal attention from Ward's bus tour by announcing his life is coming to an end, the staffer wrote.
I'm scrolling my Twitter right now, and I'm sorry to distract, but I'm going to copy and paste this tweet link here because this is the amount of joke that we have from the current administration. There is a series, one of my somebody who I follows. Division 454 is doing a Fallout 4 run called Let's Make Out Fallout 4 Great Again. I have a feeling that their main character looks like Trump. Because you can download pre-made skin for that. Just like you can have someone who's Rick or Morty. Memes, just for the memes, that's all.
I guess that's right. Thomas the Tank Engine, Skyrim Dragons, My Little Pony, all
I still like the Macho Man Randy Savage dragons better.
But yeah. So we've got that out of the way. Semi-sad news. I mean, it's sad because the person's gone, and sanity is gone as well.
Right.
But yeah, he was one of the few sane people, like few sane voices during this administration.
We have a lot of shit that went down this week, didn't we, Steve?
Yeah.
God, how many is this? Like 10 or 12 tabs I have open right now.
I don't have more than one because I'm just gonna let you boil it down to the brass tacks because my body's not gonna let me stay on for the full 2 hours. Maybe, I don't know. We'll see.
Well, I'm hoping you can.
I'm gonna go quickly. You can start talking about that. I'm gonna go limp to the bathroom here.
Which one are we talking about
But
specifically
most
now?
of this started on Tuesday, right, Steve?
Tuesday and Wednesday, yeah. Yeah, I'm not exactly sure what article specifically he was talking about before he ran to the bathroom.
Oh, we should probably at least fill it up with something like that isn't the biggest story, just so that we can, when he gets back, we can talk about the big story.
There's a lot of big stories.
Let's talk about the other one, the DNC. Or should we leave that for later?
I was waiting till he gets back for that one, too.
Oh, okay. Darn it. Okay, so there's that one. Covered that.
How about this one? Trump admits he was underfunding military budget to make room for parade.
What?
Yeah, that there is one of the cardinal sins.
Yeah, that's kind of...
This was from last week, it looks like, August 17th.
Yeah, that doesn't sound like something that's like responsible for any politician who is in charge of anyone's finances to do. Oh, I'm going to take this money for myself and do what I want with it.
Well, especially because Republicans' big thing is always cut taxes, and the only thing that deserves taxes is the military. So he's cutting funding from the military to make room for a parade. Then the parade gets canceled.
God. If his ego was any bigger, I could pop it with a strand of my hair.
Yeah, there's a reason that blimp is a perfect analogy for him.
Oh yeah, of course. That whole fucking baby blimp. Fucking Trump's face on it. That was gold.
That is
whoever originally thought of
of course it's the British.
Well, yeah, I know it's the British, but like in particular I would like to personally thank whoever that brainchild was. Anyway.
Yeah, it is hard to keep this many links organized. Oh my god.
Yeah.
So you talked about British?
Yeah, we talked about the Trump baby blimp and how awesome it is as an analogy for Trump's ego.
I mean, yeah.
And we talked, because we couldn't figure out what to talk about, so we talked about the Trump cutting military funding to pay for his military parade that never happened.
It's never going to happen now, too.
Yeah, now that they know that he was
delayed it. They delayed it until next year or later. And the people in D.C. have basically said that they don't want it anymore.
Right. Well, I mean, half the people who were there when he said it was, but aren't even there anymore. So, the White House or whatever.
Oh yeah, we need to. That
oh yeah,
segue into our
the
thing
coloring
we were
the
talking
flag.
about. No, Steve, remember what we were talking about the other day? We need to have a Deadpool.
Oh yeah, I forgot. We were gonna announce that.
All right.
I was proposing that we have a Deadpool every episode. Obviously, we're all broke, so we can't really afford to actually bet on things.
But
so just a gentleman's wager.
Who from the Trump team is either going to get fired or turn over on him next?
And yeah, this could be anyone in the White House or anyone connected to him in any way, like an ex-lawyer or just about anyone. Who's next to either be fired, put in jail, or otherwise taken out of the picture.
My guess, if I had money, I'd bet on this one, based upon the amount of crazy leaps of faith and sanity that's needed to be done lately in the press room. I have a feeling that Sarah Huckabee Sanders is on her way out, simply because
I'm gonna go with Jeff Sessions.
That's more of a turning over on him, but yeah.
Oh, yeah, he's been trying to fire Sessions for ever now, but that would basically be admitting collusion. So he's still trying to figure out ways to fire Sessions, but he's just been attacking him nonstop on Twitter the past few days. So I'm thinking he's going to get bold and just outright fire him, or find some loophole to fire him.
I mean, that's definitely a thing that could happen. What about you, bro? Anyone associated with Trump, who's either going to be fired or roll over on him next? It can include his family, who hasn't been fired yet.
Nah, I'm probably gonna have to go with like the wishful thinking department of Secretary of Education Betsy DeVos.
Oh,
we can only dream.
We can only dream. Okay, so we got one vote for Sarah Huckabee Sanders to be gone by next episode. Jeff Sessions and Betsy DeVos. Well, all three are wishful thinking, but we'll see. We'll see next week if any of this craziness winds up with someone being fired or rolling over on them.
And the next episode, if none of us win, then we get to pick new people if we want.
Mm-hmm. This is what a Deadpool is. All right, and you were about to segue into the lovely.
Yeah, there's a picture of Trump who is coloring the American flag with a bunch of children. And if you look at a close-up of the picture, he is coloring the U.S. flag incorrectly. He's coloring it with blue stripes.
That's either a sign of insanity or the man is definitely fucking colorblind.
Well, between, cutting the military to pay for his own private parade and then not being able to know the colors of the U.S. flag, these are two things where if you're a Republican, this guy should not be your guy.
This guy should not be anywhere near politics, obviously, but...
And also,
we're
the way
in that
he eats
weird
his
alternate
steak
hell
is another argument for why he shouldn't be your guy. Who the fuck eats well-done steak with ketchup?
We're getting
That's
into this.
disgusting.
We're getting into this debate again.
Well, like I said, there are 3 good reasons why, if you are a Republican, that you should not like Trump.
And this isn't like cheap steak either. This isn't like the cheap stuff. Trump only eats like T-bones, tenderloins, and New York strips. The man eats the high end if he cuts the beef, and he ruins them.
Yeah, these are probably $100 steaks.
Probably cut in the shape of his face like Mettaton.
He he has no respect for his food. Oh my god.
I'll tell you what, that boy ain't right.
Yeah, that would cost him Hank Hill's vote.
Yep.
Oh yeah, that's true too. Oh my god.
So I say as a country, we need to politely ask him to leave.
Yes, we do. At least from the dinner table.
Yeah, politely but firmly ask him to leave.
That man should be nowhere near a grill.
So should we move on to the DNC?
Oh god, yeah.
Yeah, we were waiting till you got back for that one.
Oh yeah.
The DNC finally did something right.
But they still managed to put a loophole in it, but, we'll see.
Because of course they did. They're corrupt, but...
Yay.
DNC changes superdelegate... Okay. DNC changes superdelegate rules in presidential nomination process.
Basically disavowing the the superdelegates to actually have any fucking say anymore.
So, the superdelegates, at least initially, aren't allowed to vote on president.
That's good news.
I'm just trying to find that stupid freaking loophole they put in.
I think it's something like
Scenario
2.
2.
Yeah, it's scenario 2.
Here it is. Scenario 2. A candidate earns a majority of the convention in pledged delegates with 600 to 1 to 1,000 with the numbers they were using as an example. Then the outcome is pledged and superdelegates can vote on the first ballot for president. So they still left in a loophole where they can have superdelegates vote.
But it's basically only in this case where it's already basically a shutout victory. At least that's the way it sounds to me.
This is a lot better than what they've had, and I think a while back they also lowered the number of superdelegates. And believe it or not, there are
only been a thing since the 80s, so
there are still people that are actually mad about them changing the superdelegate rules.
Because they haven't done enough. Mostly.
No, they're mad that they cut the power. What I'm weird though, the thing that's weird is that it mostly is advocates in the African American community in the Democratic Party that are mad that they cut the power of superdelegates.
Probably because it's one of the few ways that their race actually got any power unless they were running. Sadly.
I guess that would make some sense why they'd be mad about it.
Politics is still rich white man's game. It's not fair, and it sucks, and I wish it wasn't that way. But that's just the way it is until we fix our...
But I had an idea earlier of what they should do. The DNC should try to make a deal with LeBron James to have him try to rally people for the Democratic Party.
Get out the vote.
Yeah, if LeBron James did a commercial saying, go to the polls, I think a lot of people would listen.
Remember back
After
in the
Trump
2000s?
attacking him and...
Remember back in the 2000s when MTV did the Rock of the Vote and we had Paris Hilton? And she didn't vote, but she was telling people to vote?
Well, yeah, but that's Paris Hilton. LeBron James is actually respected.
Hopefully he will actually vote.
I'm pretty sure he would.
He sounds like somebody who would actually stick to his morals or whatever.
Perhaps.
Well, I can't be 100% sure, but I feel like he probably votes Democrat, especially after the thing with Trump. And he also makes a good deal of money and could help raise a lot of money for the DNC.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, they finally did something about the superdelegates. Not enough, but, you know, I'll take it.
Oh, yeah. Rather this than what happened.
Yeah, that was a bunch of bullshit in 2016. So I think the best transition now is, should we talk about Manafort or Cohen first?
They're tied together. Do them both. Do a double team there.
Well, this week, the Manafort trial finally ended, and out of 18 total things he was charged for, he has been convicted of 8, for a maximum charge of 80 years in prison.
How old is Manafort again?
68.
Motherfuckers are not getting out of prison ever.
Even if they cut it in half, he's dying in prison.
Yeah.
And he hasn't rolled on Trump yet. Even to get that.
Cohen has.
Yeah, because he's young enough to want to see the light of day again.
Cohen, who once said that he would take a bullet for Trump, turned over pretty much the next day.
Yeah, didn't. What did he take a plea bargain and?
Yeah, he took a plea bargain and admitted what he knows about the payments to Stormy Daniels, and basically said, "Yeah, Trump told him to do it."
So he's basically admitted that Trump committed some serious campaign finance fraud.
Oh wow, I just had a thing pop up on my browser about the Pope Francis and cover-up of the clerical sex abuse scandal.
Every pope's has been guilty of being parlayed.
Francis isn't being charged with that. It's, I think, a cardinal that supposedly Pope Francis knew about.
Well, they've all known about it. That's the problem. It's the see no evil, hear no evil thing with that. They've always been covering it up. They've never done anything about it. And that's why people are still so pissed.
And then I think we go from Cohen to David Pecker.
Which is a very good
Pecker,
good name for memes, because what's he going to be doing, Steve? What's he doing?
Well, was the Inquisitor he owns, I think.
And what's he doing? What's
Apparently
he doing with that?
In 2016, he bought an order to kill order on any story that made Trump look bad.
And what's he going to do to those stories now, Steve?
Those are now going to get released.
What's another name for releasing it?
I'm not sure what you're getting at, but you're going to tell me.
David Pecker's leaking information.
The Pecker is leaking.
It's almost like the whole.
That is what's going around right now. This is our world. There are articles saying David Pecker is leaking on Trump.
It's just great. It's a freaking tabloid. That's one of the things that's going to bring down the president.
And it's gonna be all about a pecker leaking. Oh my god.
Yeah, a tabloid has more reliable information than the mainstream media.
Wow.
You know, because the mainstream media doesn't get listened to.
This is like the Wiener scandal all over again.
I know. What world do we live in?
Well, the Republican Party is full of peckers and wieners.
Thought Wiener was a Democrat, but okay.
Okay, you ruined the joke, but yeah, okay, politics is full of peckers and wieners.
There you go. Amended.
And plenty of dicks.
Especially if you're talking Cheney.
Yep.
And Nixon. Surprisingly, is Dick Cheney still alive?
I think so.
Because that would mean that he survived longer than John McCain, and we all thought he was going to die when Bush was in office.
My theory is that he's a lich.
It's a theory worth investigating. Ow.
Yeah.
All right,
Wow.
So here's one of these. So a big thing here is that there is a precedent where no one can actually file charges against a sitting president on the federal level.
It's not a law, it's a precedent, meaning that it's just the way things have been done.
So Mueller could still do it. It'd make him really unpopular, but he could still do it.
He should do it.
However, the Manhattan DA is planning to charge Trump on the state level.
So you're saying that he's trying to sue him in New York?
Yep.
The state in which his business is, in.
And a lot of his assets.
But with what we know here, here's an article from the Huffington Post. Donald Trump basically admitted to a federal crime.
Via tweet.
Well, basically what's going on is that Trump's lawyers are really bad at their jobs. So they're basically telling him, oh yeah, they don't have anything on you because none of these are technically related to each other. So you firing Comey, they can't prove that was intent. And or he was talking about possibly pardoning Manafort, which a lot of people are saying that's just a big move for him to try to tell other people that, hey, I'll pardon you if you stay loyal. And meanwhile, he's been blasting Jeff Sessions for like 3 days straight for not being loyal.
I don't know.
However, a few people who are actual competent lawyers are actually saying that, yes, if you have all of this evidence together, even though it's unrelated, that can, in fact, prove intent.
Well, yes, it can.
So they're making the argument that there's already enough evidence for impeachment.
Every scumbag in this administration is getting fired, and it's unreal. Oh my god.
Trying to resist laughing because laughing hurts.
Let's see, CNN. Being indicted isn't Donald Trump's problem. Impeachment might be. And that goes back to the whole precedent about not going after a sitting president. But almost every article I've read this week has pretty much all agreed that he is screwed after the midterms.
The thing is he screwed if somehow, some way, Russia can cause things to continue to be the status quo as it is right now, because they've been caught trying to get access to poll machines and tamper with the voting.
There was also a separate
registers.
instance where they thought it was Russians, and it turned out to be a hoax. But there was also the one where it turned out to be legit.
And there's also the one where Microsoft was saying that they were being hacked by Russians as well.
And a lot of experts are currently saying that we don't have time now to fix the voting machines before the 2020 elections.
We're just going to have to go back to paper ballots, people.
And then waste time with a useless recount after all of the hanging chads.
We'd rather have 2000 all over again than have to deal with 2016 all over again, people.
Same.
Oh yeah, and CNN, another interesting one. Exclusive ex-Trump World Tower Dormans catch and kill contract release.
We still haven't gotten confirmation on what the hell's going on with that, but
this is purely speculation, even though it's on CNN. But supposedly a doorman who worked at one of Trump's businesses knows information about Trump having an illegitimate love child with one of the staff, like a housekeeper.
You know, the
he
Arnold
was under
Schwarzenegger
order
defense.
Yeah, he was ordered not to talk about it, but the catch and kill contract just got released, so he went to CNN. So there's nothing saying this is true or not. So I think CNN should have probably done more research before posting this, but
it adds
if
more
true, that's pretty big.
Week. Adds more hilarity to the week.
Just wow, that is so typical rich businessman shit.
I'm gonna have a love child with all of my housekeepers.
That is the
That's
plot.
What they say.
That is the plot of Mr. Like whole bullshit, and several other probably fucking movies
and Game of
about
Thrones,
rich people.
Because we all know that Robert Baratheon stuck his dick in many a woman.
Yeah, it's a trope.
As did all of the Targaryens, apparently.
Art imitates life, imitates art, imitates life, imitates art.
It's a circle, people.
Well, considering he's, already paying hush money to two separate women, it's pretty believable.
I mean, yeah, he's. I'm sure there's at least one time, fucking, he did what he did with the other two, that we know about, and baby happened. If he's doing this on the regular.
The real question I would like to know is whether or not he did the cardinal sin that would truly, truly, truly test any good conservative Christian's mettle. Did he do what that one Republican, I think, senator did, where he ordered an abortion? Because if so, that would really, really, really take a big chunk out of his base. Or prove that they will follow him to the ends of the earth no matter what the hell he does.
Well, no info on that as of yet.
Again, still pretty fucking hilarious.
Wow.
Let's see, another CNN. Mark Warner wants to block Trump from arbitrarily revoking security clearances.
Well, he was trying to do that.
Yeah, that's his new tactic, since he realized it's about as effective as his the other thing he likes to do so much.
Tweet?
That too, but that's not very effective.
Oh, fire people?
What's super effective?
The executive orders.
Oh yeah.
He realized, wait a minute, executive orders bypass all of this Congress bullshit, and now he's figuring out that, revoking security clearances can help him get his way just as quickly. So now that he figured out that little life hack, he's trying to use it on anyone who pisses him off.
Particularly people who are no longer employed and or are retired government officials.
So I have a feeling he's going to revoke Sessions clearance pretty quickly.
If he does that, that's going to be pretty telling as to what the fuck he's doing.
Sessions
Everything
would
he's
probably wrap
done
him up
has
at
been
that point.
telling of what he's doing.
Trying to save his ass.
You'd have to be really dumb not to see what he's doing.
Yeah, it's sad. Also, my music keeps freaking stopping for no damn reason. Why do you keep doing that?
I don't know. Dude.
So what other stories you got for us in that area of expertise of yours today, Steve? Or is that pretty much
Well,
cover it?
there is a list of 52 Trump investigations that Democrats are planning if they win the midterms.
Please don't go into all
Yeah.
52 of them, but
Exactly.
the fact that they've already got a list for the if they win elections, that says a lot.
Let's see. One of them is corruption. One is an investigation into Jared Kushner. Private email correspondences going into Michael Flynn. Pretty much everything to do with the 2016 campaign. Failure to produce documents.
That's a big one because
Which reminds me of another one I forgot to open the link to.
Doesn't he have a whole wing of people who had to start trying to tape together stuff of his because of that? Because holy shit.
Yeah, I'm looking for an article right now, but the guy who was in charge of Trump's finances turned on him as well.
Yeah.
Weisselberg.
Ah.
Yeah, Alan Weisselberg flipped on Donald Trump, and he has been with the Trump family since Trump's father, Fred Trump. So this guy knows everything about the family finances, including his tax information. And he just flipped. That was the one I was looking for. So as far as this failure to produce documents, that is likely already in Robert Mueller's hands.
Well, damn.
As well as all the information about the Trump Foundation, which is most likely where he launders his money through.
Well, money laundering is like the most popular criminal offense of any rich person. You realize that, right?
Well,
Especially
yeah.
a rich person who's either a con
Tax
artist
evasion got
or
Capone.
has some serious ties to the mob. Which we all know that he does because hey, great Uncle Labooty, I'm sorry, but Trump really didn't want to sit next to you at WrestleMania, but he did because you kept feeding him money through his casino because you had a serious gambling habit. Yes, bro. Our relative knew Trump. He's not alive anymore, but...
Wait, which WrestleMania was this? Was this the
WrestleMania
one
3. The one where he was supposedly sitting next to a mob-related person.
Oh, well,
by the last name of
yeah.
Labooty.
Yeah.
So yay.
Jesus Christ, guys.
Wow.
So we're related to that stupid. That level.
So
of stupid.
another thing they're going to look into is waste, fraud, and abuse. So that thing I mentioned about, cutting military money to pay for his personal parade, and all of his goddamn golf trips. Yeah, the Dems are going to look into that when they win.
If they win. Don't say when, say if. Because we don't know what kind of level of bullshittery is going to happen.
Well,
we've still got 2 months.
Oh, God.
Steve, remember what I said last time. Trump is using executive orders like they're fucking candy.
And
if he found a way to do it, he would possibly, I'm not saying he will, but he might possibly try to find a way to executive order a halt to the elections. That's what the fuck kept Putin in power for as long as he's been in.
Oh, speaking of which, the only way that that's going to, fail, in my opinion, is if the Dems do something really stupid. So moving on, want to hear a story about everyone's favorite genital wart?
Wait, what?
Everyone's favorite, genital wart that just won't go away.
Herpes?
Starts with an H.
HPV?
Hillary Clinton.
Oh, yeah.
She is
you're making a South Park joke there.
Giving speeches on behalf of the Democratic Party. She's not talking about running for office, but she is still involved.
It's still
in the
not
process.
a very good idea. It's
I
only
was not aware of this.
It's only feeding into Trump's consistent freaking campaign speeches where everyone he does, he's got a 2-minute block of "lock her up" screamed back at him by a crowd of.
So everyone with the brain
people
is making jokes about this, saying, "Wow, they have so big of a, an advantage that it would take something really bad to lose the advantage." And then Hillary Clinton, guaranteed red wave for 2020.
Pretty much. You don't. She just needs to get out of politics.
She needs to go away.
Whether or not she's had good ideas in the past, because universal health care that was attempted to be passed in the 90s was her idea. That was her platform. But her husband ruined her political career for her. Sorry. Her turn in the Senate is all that she's going to get. She probably shouldn't have gotten that. But, I mean, it's nothing against her personally, but she's got that attitude of entitlement to political positions that most lawyers have, and she was a lawyer. Her and Bill were both lawyers and went to law school, and it's just the status quo needs to change to where we're not having lawyers in charge.
One of the reasons she lost was sexism. Well, a lot of people were saying, no, I'd completely vote for Nina Turner or Elizabeth Warren.
I'd totally vote and have voted for Jill Stein.
I voted for Jill Stein. So she's saying, oh, sexism cost me the election, but also third parties. Well, which is it?
Probably just the third parties, because she was a terrible candidate. And if she had any idea of how,
but that was also
how
less
to
than
actually
1% of the
election,
vote that voted for Jill Stein.
If she actually wanted to fucking win the election, she would have had Bernie as her vice president.
That would have done it.
That would have put the Democratic Party together in order to beat Trump. He would have at least had enough say to get some of his policies possibly put through.
Instead, she picked a complete clone of Pence.
You mean a nobody who's basically a middle-of-the-road conservative?
Another, old white guy with conservative values. It reminded me of that joke in Futurama with the two clones.
The fucking John Johnson and James Johnson or whatever?
I think these taxes have gone too far.
I think these taxes haven't gone far
enough.
Oh, yeah.
That was a joke I was making constantly about the vice presidential debates.
This whole election cycle for the last 4 years has been parodied by Futurama a decade ago.
Yeah.
if not more at this point.
You know, Hillary also kind of has an ego, and it kind of got burst when she lost the election, because on Facebook and I think on Twitter too, she went radio silent for a few months on Facebook, and I think maybe Twitter.
Well, that's one of the reasons
Bernie
why I didn't
Sanders
like
was
her.
posting every single day.
That's one of the reasons why I didn't like her in the first place. It's because she had such a huge fucking ego.
Well,
She
I
felt
didn't like
entitled.
that she is basically a giant pawn for the military-industrial complex.
That too.
She was more hawkish than Obama, and, well, like I've said a bunch of times, Obama dropped more bombs on the Middle East than Bush. They ran out of bombs under Obama. Which I
Yeah.
believe Trump has now beaten his record, actually, but
In 2
he
years.
previously held the record for probably most hawkish president.
In 2 years.
And he's a
Of 8 years
Democrat.
of Obama.
Supposed to be. Remember,
That's just
if you're going by the
insane.
actual political spectrum, he's not very far left or center from the current crop of Republicans. He was practically identical to Mitt Romney.
When I
on that
took
political
that
spectrum.
last, I was like right on Noam Chomsky.
I'm somewhere in that lower left corner, yeah. It's scary though, how
Yeah.
people think of it as a dichotomy when it's actually more multifaceted than anyone could even imagine. How the differing of every political view actually matters.
Well, because the layperson in politics just thinks of the difference between the Republicans and Democrats as basically abortion.
And that ain't it.
I shake my
There's-
head and shake my fist at those people.
There's a lot of things.
I mean, I will say that both parties have more in common than they have different, but
yeah.
there's still more to it than that.
Yeah.
And even with all those commonalities, they can't agree on jack or shit because party politics.
It's all just psychology.
I've
It's
told
the
you
same-
before.
It's the same thing as people who will defend their football team to the death, even if they lose every year.
Like the Vikings.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's what I was
my
getting
God.
at.
Sorry, we live in Minnesota. We know this hardship far too well. Being mildly college educated does not actually preclude us to having any actual knowledge of anything beyond what you can research on your own. But still, being in a place where sports teams precludes us to knowledge of diehard fandom.
Yeah, that's exactly it. It's the same mentality as the people who will just keep showing
It's
up
from
for their
the Neanderthal
sports
part
team.
of our brain.
Yeah, it's all tribalism. And so you try to explain policy to people, and most of them just don't care. They're like, no, I blue team. They red team.
Oh my God.
Red team bad, blue team good, or blue team bad, red team good. I know. It's
And that's why
infuriating.
Bernie got all of the voters who actually think for themselves.
Wait a minute.
Because he talked about policy instead of red and blue.
Yes, we need policy talk. We don't need to be us versus them bullshit.
Us versus them doesn't get anything done.
You just cut out, brother. What did you say?
Us versus them doesn't get anything done.
No, it doesn't.
It's more or less you gotta actually have like conversation. Diplomacy. Where the fuck did that go?
I know, right? We're definitely
Working
going to have
together
to
for-
cut this here in the next 20 minutes or so, because I'm scrolling through Twitter, and you've got some hail headed your way, bruh. And by bruh, I mean
actually,
Steve.
It hath been freaking.
We're going to
It's
get
headed
hail?
towards, headed towards Bemidji right now.
Holy crap.
Honestly,
It's been a long
I have been
time since I've
listening
seen
to
hail.
I've been listening to the
That's
thunder
what it
and rain.
says. It might die down to just be heavy rain, but it might impact the recording process. If
I
we,
always like when giant chunks of ice fall from the sky.
I know,
I'm
right?
It
surprised
makes
the
me
power
feel
hasn't
like a
gone out
true
here yet.
Minnesotan.
I know, right? Because it happens all year round. Just it's different kinds of ice.
Yeah, like I said, Skyrim belongs to the Nords.
So anything else that you have to say, Steve, about politics and stuff? Because we're getting up to that 2-hour point.
I'm sure there's tons of shit.
There's tons, I know, but you've kind of given us the gist of, man, Trump really fucked himself this week, and boy, is he going to get impeached.
Oh yeah,
Let's hope.
He has had
A shitty,
the worst week.
He's had about as bad of a week as my body.
Also, his for some reason his approval rating still is barely going down over any of this.
Probably because
I do remember one thing I wanted to address. I don't have the article up, but remember we were talking earlier. I found that one that was talking about how many people actually follow the news.
Oh yeah, and it's very few. Less than 30% in both parties.
Yeah, less than 30% in both parties. People who tend to vote Republican
Or slightly
mostly
more.
get their... Yeah, there's more of them that tend to follow because they care about it more. But they also, almost all of them, get their information from Fox News.
And Fox News only.
Whereas the Democrats had slightly less than the Republicans, but they tended to get their news exclusively online, and a few would go to other sites like CNN or MSNBC.
So basically you're saying is mainstream media is dying out and gasping at straws for every possible thing that they can do.
That's not even the big takeaway I'm seeing, because we already knew that. But this is including, online news. It's just that no one's watching the news. Because those numbers were even lower amongst independents and third-party voters.
So nobody gives a fuck.
Yeah, all this shit is going on around us, and most people who vote Republican have no idea that Trump is this close to being impeached. Because Fox News hasn't said shit about it.
And everybody else really doesn't care two fucks unless they're actually paying attention, because they'd rather bury their head in the sand or Fortnite or PUBG or whatever, because, politics doesn't actually matter. But in situations like this, where we're literally at the precipice of either having a despot who will delay elections and become the next fucking Putin, or actual impeachment proceedings for the first time in 2 decades, this is some important shit. We have to be paying attention. This is going to be the history our children and grandchildren, should the world not, devolve into a hothouse that extincts all of us. This is what we will be teaching to our descendants, and we really want to be able to say where we were when that happened. I mean, everybody asks us once a year, where were you when 9/11 happened? 90% of people will fucking be able to tell you what happened, but when Trump gets impeached, nobody will fucking know, because no one's even gonna know that he got impeached until after the fact.
What I was gonna say is, when he's finally impeached, the next generation is gonna ask us where we were when he was impeached, and most of this generation is gonna say, "Oh, I was playing Fortnite."
Or
I guess it was happening around me. I was poning noobs.
Not that Fortnite is that terrible. It's just that these people need to take at least 5 to 10 minutes out of their day to peruse, important news articles of the day, just to get an idea of what's going on around them.
Yeah, just 5 minutes. I just tend to catch the news before I go to bed every night.
Honestly, this 1 hour a week kind of exhausting sometimes.
Well, I understand the fatigue.
The 1 hour, the 1 hour a week of political discussion. Don't worry. Hopefully next week it will be less than an hour.
But it just kind of sickens me how few people are actually paying attention to what's going on with these huge headlines.
I know.
More people on both sides knew about the Molly Tibbet thing than
and have
they
more
did about how...
have an opinion. And
Yeah,
yes,
than they
it's
did about
sad.
Trump being impeached.
It's sad and it's tragic, but people are trying to pull a Trump and say build the wall when it's been 2 years. 2 fucking years since Trump's been saying build a wall, and finally he has his this is concrete proof that all immigrants are murderers and rapists. One incident. Incidents
Whereas
like
we just had another shooting and nothing done about gun control. And what was it, like 2-3 weeks ago, we had a totally different shooting that we refused to talk about because of how common it is.
Yep.
We only talked about this one because it's gaming related.
Exactly. It's become a joke, and a very bad joke.
I still remember, though, that the NRA was running out of money, and a lot of Democrats were saying that they're sending their thoughts and prayers.
Oh, let's pray. Let's pray they run out of money.
Oh my god. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Okay, last call is going to be in about 15 minutes here for DGDS, so we're going to be going soon. I'm going to shoot this link for Craig over to you, bro.
Oh, you're heading out?
I will be in a bit. I'm going to probably pop into the last call for DGDS here in a bit. But I have some, I mean, that's pretty much the end of the
Yeah, we'll just
anyway.
go
We're
with
at
you
our 2 hours.
Yeah, we'll just call it here.
Yeah, it's 2 hours and 1 minute. So yeah, we're at the end of time.
So
Thanks,
ending
everybody.
statements?
The world is fucked and whatever. I don't know. I've got an ending statement, but I'll leave it for the end.
Oh, I'm waiting for your...
I found
your
something on
ending
Twitter.
statements.
I found something on Twitter. It's a quote from Albert Camus. We'll end with that because it's probably more appropriate than anything right now with all this craziness going on.
Okay, how about you?
It's some hope.
A clown fiesta is happening in Washington, and we're all just laughing.
Sometimes crying.
Laugh till we cry, cry till we laugh.
I'm a sad crying clown.
Pretty much.
So my ending statement: Space Force.
Hey Steve, I'm surprised that crying clown thing didn't get you into the Watchmen kick. Heard a joke once?
Oh God.
Oh God.
Yeah, I won't go further on that one. We'll probably save that for another.
Poor Pagliacci.
Poor Pagliacci. But this is the quote that I found while scrolling through Twitter during this episode, because I've been trying to keep abreast of the latest happenings with the shooting and stuff and what people have been saying about it. But this is something that just kind of somebody randomly posted. In the depth of winter, I finally learned that within me there lay an invincible summer, and that makes me happy. For it says that no matter how hard the world pushes against me, within me there's something stronger, something better, pushing right back. Albert Camus. Now remember, this is from a somewhat nihilist, existentialist philosopher who did not believe in an afterlife. And yet he had the hope to persevere and live on and be a force of change, even though he had tuberculosis and was basically bedridden most of his life. So, be like Camus. Push back. Be present. And this has been 2 Minutes to Midnight. This has been Disdonn.
And Steve.
And Frosty.
Alrighty. So we're gonna head out now. I'm sorry
also,
it's been long.
If you want to be part of the show, just message one of us on YouTube or join the Discord, and we'd be happy to have guests on.
Oh yeah. Yes. If you want to be on and talk about anything, if you have anything to promote, we will gladly have you on and put you in to distract from the craziness that we have to go on. So thank you guys and good night.